Hello everyone, it's great to have you all on board. It's another time with Tutor.io, the enthusiastic tutor. Tutorial, it happens to be the continuation of the course for 3. We apologize, we're a little bit behind schedule. Ensure to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and also join private class yet. Most importantly, you need to enroll. All you need to do is just reach out to us on our official website. I believe you all can hear me. Okay, you just have to confirm the audio. Just reach out to us on our official website, which is www.tutor.io.net, and use the WhatsApp button in the top right hand corner to send us a direct message. From there, we can add you up to the class. With this being said, let's go straight into the class. So, as mentioned earlier, we are taking the course POL311. Very interesting course, and it's one course we are going to be concluding with this week. We're going to be concluding with the course Grace of God this week, and we're going to be starting another one. Okay, we're going to be starting another course this week as well. So, according to the thumbnail, it says institutionalization. Okay, we're going to be considering what it means by institutionalization. Now, the interesting thing is that as far as this course is concerned, we have been talking about, all right, for the past 3 to 4 classes that we've been having now, we've been talking about, just a moment. For about 3 to 4 classes we've had now on this course, we'll be talking about different theories, approaches, and method. And basically, it's a whole lot of them from different angles. All right, talking about different things. Okay, but heading at a particular direction. So, in line with what we have been taking, we are going to be talking about the new institutionalization. Okay. Now, when we talk about the new institutionalization, is also said to be an approach. Okay, but this kind of approach is said to be a theoretical approach. All right, theoretical approach in political science. Okay, it's said to be a theoretical approach in political science. Now, this approach emphasizes the role, are we together, of institutions. This approach emphasizes the role of institution in shaping. Just trying to confirm the audio. Okay. It emphasizes on the role, okay, of institutions. These institutions are responsible, all right, for shaping political behavior. So it's a theoretical approach that is upon in pol science. Let's just leave it as that. Okay, a political approach in pol science, and this approach emphasizes the role of institutions. It emphasizes the role of institutions in the shaping of political behavior. In the shaping of political behavior, okay, not just political behavior alone, but policies, outcome, and governance at large. Are we together? Okay. Are we together? Now, let's take a step further. Having said that, okay, we also need to understand that in as much as this theoretical approach is concerned, it is different from what we call the traditional institutionalism. Okay, the new institutionalism is different from a traditional institutionalism. Now, when we say traditional institutionalism, here it focuses on formal rules and structures. Okay, the traditional trad institutionalism, the formal. Please, if you're on the stream, do well to say hello, do well to say hi, and also please subscribe to the channel. We are a long way to go. We are basically less than 500. It's just about 300 subscribers here. Please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you are encouraged to do so. And also, it might interest you to join the private class, which is very important place you need to be. Okay, just go to our official website, www.tutorial.net, and use the WhatsApp button to send us a direct message. So here, the focus is on formal rules and structures. Formal rules and structures. That's the traditional institution. Okay. That when we say institutions, they are not just neutral, all right, but they are activers, all right, they are actively, all right, interested in shaping political behaviors, all right. That's one of the key points you must note when it comes to new institutionalization. Are we together? So now, I said something about the traditional institution. So considering the traditional approaches now to the study of politics, all right, they were preoccupied with legal, normative, and institutional aspects. Speaking of the traditional institutions, okay, now in forms of approach regarded as old institutionalism, now they were largely with the study and description of formal institution. Okay, like I said earlier, the traditional institution is focused more on formal and the structure of political behavior. Okay, but now with the emergence of behavioral revolution during the 1960s and 1970s, the old institutionalization was seriously discredited. Okay, it was discredited. Okay, in other words, while the traditional policy theory was institutionalized, subsequent political studies were behavioralist in orientation. So even while the traditional institution was what was the order of the day, they were still about few, all right, behavioralist. All right, I know. Just like in one of our classes, we talked about the behavioralist or the behavioral approach. Now, when we say behavioralist now, we are simply talking about someone who adheres to the study and the principle of behavioralism, all right? And when we say behavioralism now, we are talking about a school of thought that explains human and animal behavior based on observable actions, all right, political decisions, all right, and activities can be observable, all right, based on observable processes. Behavioralist focuses on how learning, conditioning, and external stimuli shape behavior. Are we together? So we are not diving, I just quickly talked about that. What we are talking about is the new institutionalism and the old institutionalism, which is the traditional institutionalism. So when you hear old institutionalism now, we are simply referring to the traditional institutionalism. Okay? So let's take a step further. So having said that, while the traditional institutionalism was currently on, we had the likes of reductionists, the likes of utilitarianism, the likes of functionalism, the likes of instrumentalism. So now let's take one or 2 points on each of all these approaches. Now, as far as the reductionist was concerned, they believed that the behavioral approach was reductional in the sense that macro political phenomena were reduced to micro level or regarded as the end product of micro behavior. Okay? Now, it was assumed that political phenomena are best understood as the aggregate consequence of behavior which are comprehensible at the individual level. You know, when we say micro now, when we did Echo 1 to 2 in 100 level second semester, when we say micro is more of individual household, unlike macro, which is more of aggregate decision made by individuals in a country or firms or household total. But when we say micro now, which is under reductionist sees behavior now as being limited to studying of behavior as being limited to individuals. So therefore, studying and the approach to behavior or behavioralism was redundant to what we refer to as micro level. Okay, so let's talk about the utilitarianism. Now, as far as they are concerned, the behavioral perspective of political science was as being utilitarian because of its tendency to see political action as a product of a calculated self-interest or rational choice. When we say utilitarianism, they are using economical terminologies in this course. From the word utility. Remember in economics, Echo 231, Echo 122, when we talk about utility, we are talking about what? Satisfaction. And from satisfaction, we have rationalism. And from rationalism, we have opportunity forgone. How does all this relate to utility or utilitarianism? We'll explain. Utility is otherwise known as satisfaction, derived from consuming a particular product or service. And talking about satisfaction, it is rational. Rational in the sense that as a human being, you would want to go for something that you will benefit from, that you can maximize your profits or you can maximize your benefit or enjoyment. This is what I'm talking about. You have 20 naira with you and you are thirsty. You have the option of going for ice cream and you have the option of going for, no, let's not even say ice cream. You have the option of going for water, two different water. One water is 20 naira. All right? So you have 20 naira with you now. You have two options. You have table water, which is 20 naira, but 20, let's say this table water now is just 1 liter. And you have sachet water. Now this sachet water is also 20 naira, but it is 3 liters. So as a rational thinking person who is very thirsty, your 20 naira can get you a table water of 20 naira, but the quantity of that table water is 1 liter. And with the kind of way you are thirsty, you know that 1 liter of water would not be enough. You will not derive what we call maximum satisfaction from it. So if you decide to go for sachet water, all right, and you can get 3 liters of water from a sachet water of 20 naira, and you consume it, you quench your thirst, and you still even have water to spare, maybe to wash your face or cool temperature. You are running temperature. So it's a rational decision, because if you have gone for table water of 20 naira, which can only get you 1 liter of water, you consume the 1 liter of water, but you are not satisfied, you are still thirsty. So it will be said that your decision was irrational. All right. So as a human being, you are always looking forward to behaving rational, and by doing so, you want to get maximum from just little resources. Now let's go back to where we were coming from, which is utilitarianism. So now, according to what we have been told here, utilitarianism says that the behavioral perspective to political science was regarded as being utilitarian because of its tendency to see political action as the product of calculated. Now, utilitarian sees behavioral perspective of post science as being utilitarian, in the sense that there is tendency that political action is the product of calculated self-interest. Now, underline calculated self-interest and compare it. Do a comparison with what we just talked about, which is rationalism that I just explained. All right, or utility that I just explained a moment ago. So for you to think rationally, first, you are putting yourself first. You are not putting the buyer, you are not putting the seller into consideration. You are only considering what you have to offer. 20 naira, and this 20 naira must get you the satisfaction you require. So you need to think, you need to calculate. By calculating, you are being rational. And you are rational because you want to maximize profits, or you want to maximize utility, you want to maximize the benefits with resources. So now, any political activity, based on certain behavior is seen from an angle that this behavior is as a result of a calculated self-interest. Are we together? This is what the utilitarians sees what we refer to as the behavioral perspective to political science. Are we together? Now let's take a step further. We have the functionalism and the other ones, but let's just take a step further. Okay, so now it says new institutionalization as a critique of behavior. All right, let's see what we have under that. As a critique of behavior. So we have NI, that's new institutionalization, as a critique of behavior. Now, there has emerged 5 distinct critiques of human behavioral approach to political science from new institutionalism theory. There are 5 of them. So let's quickly run through the 5 of them. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we have relative autonomy or casual importance. We have relative autonomy or casual importance of institutions, whereas behavioralism emphasizes the dependency of policies on society. Okay, so the new institutionalism highlighted the independence between native autonomous social context of politics. What are we talking about here? We are talking about autonomy. Okay, autonomy. So let's take that down just a moment. Okay, the right of self. Don't forget, we said this itself is institutions taking upon the responsibility of political behavior. So now, if you are according to what this is saying, critiquing, all right, scrutinizing it in line with human behavior, then indeed it is important to note that autonomy is one of the critiques, because autonomy talks about the right to self-governance. Okay, since they are responsible for the behavior, intentional, all right, and they are deliberate about shaping political behavior, so there's an autonomy during that process of achieving their responsibility. All right, so let's note that there's autonomy, and also we also have casual complexity of history and the limit of reductionism. Now, behavioral politics tend to adopt a micro approach, all right, which macro phenomenon of large entities such as state decomposable to reduce in small units. So let's also take micro approach. Yes, I totally agree. For them to be intentional about changing the political or shaping the political behavior is not a thing that can be done from the top. Okay, just like we have microeconomy, it is the microeconomy that determines the macroeconomy. So if you are talking about doing something on a large scale, you must have enough information from a small scale before you can now migrate or metamorphose or develop into the large scale. Without a micro economy. There is no macro economy, because those macro economy you are looking at, they get their information, their footing. Talking about the macro approach now, this new institutionalism focuses on individuals and how they can reach out to improving their political behavior. So also we have social structures, norms, and utilitarianism in contrast to behavioral assumptions. All right. Now, these emphases are that politics is filled with behavior that is difficult to fit into a simple utilitarian mode. Now, okay, yes, we are back now. That was from the network. Can you hear me now, Mrs. Regina? That was from the network, man. Can we all hear me now? Okay. Can we all hear me? Wonderful, wonderful. So let's continue. Mr. Felix, you were not in DES 303 class yesterday. I didn't notice you in the class yesterday. DES 303 class. I didn't notice you in the class. Mr. Felix, what's the problem? And you have not submitted your assignment as well. Only Mrs. Regina has submitted her assignment. Okay. So let's continue, please. So now it says that's point 3. Point 3 says that there is limit to let's just put limited all right, utilitarian limited utilitarianism. Okay, and now I get it. When new institutionalization is in control, utilitarianism has to be limited. This is why. Don't forget we said utilitarianism is self-interest, self-calculation, rationalism. And with the approach of this new institutionalism, they are not based on self-calculation. They are based on the fact that they are taking up the role of shaping as an institution, not as a self-calculated interest. Okay? This is limited when it comes to new institutionalism. Are we together? So also we have historical inefficiency and the limits of functionalism. While both the behavioralist and functionalist theory emphasize the efficiency of historical processes and how history moves quickly. All right. So it says also that in the process of shaping behavior, all right, emphasis are laid on historical specifics. So let me just pull this out. So we have historical specifics, and also there's something called social rituals. Okay, social rituals are being challenged. Social ritual are challenged. These social rituals, don't forget there's an old institutionalism before the. So it's a thing of no, this is how we do it before. That one has been eliminated. It's now a thing of this is how it should be done. And for historical specifics, a lot of histories have been rewritten that the new institutionalization may be effective. So we have that as that. Now, we also have what is called historical institutionalization. As far as this is concerned, there are a few points we will make mention of. Just two of them though. About historical institutionalization is that it tends to conceptualize the relationship between institutions and individual behavior in relatively broad terms. All right, talking about this HI tends to what? Picturize, to put into conceptualization the relationship that exists between institutions and individual behavior in as much as political science is concerned. This institution now, historical institutionalization, will tell you, as far as political science is concerned, this is how institutions tend to behave, and likewise individuals. Why? Because it has the archive of historical activities. HI will also give a prominent role to power when analyzing the operation and development of institutions. Definitely, as an institution taking upon the responsibility of shaping political behavior, certain powers must be apportioned for effectiveness. So we have that as that. Now, before we call it a wrap for today, I want us to quickly talk about sociological institutionalization. Please, like I said, it's a lot of theories, a lot of approaches as far as this course is concerned. So, to make it easy for you, make sure that you are taking the points, you are repurposing in your notes. While you are taking notes, don't copy what I write on the board like you are copying notes. What I expect you to do is what is on the board, try and read it, all right, then repurpose it in your own way that you will understand better and put it down in your notes. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that try to get the concept behind every definition I put on the board. With that, even though you can't remember 100% in the exam, if you already have the definition, you can make something out of it. Your questions will not come like define sociological institutionalism. It will be twisted. They can even say in the year 1995 according to social scholar, what would you say about sociological institutionalism? Even though you don't even remember what the scholar said, even though you don't even remember the scholar, but the moment you already have an idea what it means by sociological institutionalism, you can make something out of it. And trust me, you'll be graded not by, the grading system is different compared to CBT. CBT now is garbage in, garbage out. In as much as you even have something to pen down, and you not just pen nonsense, what you have penned down is even in line with the question, you will get some marks. It might not be as accurate as they might want it, but in as much as it is in line with the question and you have expressed yourself correctly, you will still be apportioned some marks. And that's why I said POP is easy to pass if you know what you are doing. So we have sociological. I don't know why I feel so exhausted. I'm not feeling energized. I just feel kind of exhausted. Institutionalism. That's why I'm kind of conserving my strength. I'm not so energetic into this class. I don't know why. Okay, maybe it's usually like that sometimes though. So now, as far as this is concerned, so let's abbreviate this as SI. SI. As far as SI is concerned, it is a branch. Okay? SI is a branch of new institutionalization. And as far as SI is concerned, it emphasizes the role of culture. Now, from what you can even see here, we know what this is already. When institutions take upon the responsibility to change or to structure political behavior, this one is already settled. So when we talk of sociological, it is just grammar. Remove logical. This is the prefix. There's a prefix, and there's a suffix. Where's I think my marker's cover fell now. And this will run dry pretty fast if I can't find it. Okay, well, this is serious. I was just about to write and everything just fell. Okay, I'll find it pretty much later. Let's just let's continue. Let me just keep it somewhere. You don't get dry easily. So let me get another marker. So this is social, and when we say social, we're talking about a society. We're talking about communication within a group of people. We're talking about how people relate, how they communicate, how they interact, from the word social. So bringing these two together now, they were talking about that branch of NI, which emphasizes on the role of culture, norms, and social constructs. Oh no, this is green. This one is not even as sharp. So let me just switch the color. Okay, emphasizes on the role, can you imagine, just now, and it's dried up already. Hey, my goodness. Emphasizes the role, okay, of culture. Culture, norms, and social constructs. Social construct in shaping political institution. In shaping political institution and behaviors. Political institution, all right, in shaping political institutions and behavior, okay, so we have that as that. So I think we've been able to do justice. Now let's note this again. It says that it arose primarily within the subfield of organizational theory. And when we say organizational theory, it examines how structure, processes, culture of an organization influences political behavior. Okay, so this emerged as a subfield, primarily emerged as a subfield of organization theory. So we have there are some points here, but let's just call it a wrap for tonight. We've talked about the main theme, major theme. Okay, so in our next class, we'll be talking about political cultural approach. So I think we have 2 more classes on this course. Today is Wednesday. Okay, just 1 more class, and I'm pretty sure by the end of the class we're going to be having on Friday, we should be calling it a wrap of the course. So it might be a very long class, but I'll ensure we conclude with this course on Friday. So thank you very much, everyone. I believe you have been able to gain something in today's class. We all know how things are being done. Ensure to submit your notes to the appropriate quarters, update them. And come to think of it, Mrs. Regina, I've not been getting your note lately. What seems to be the problem? Please ensure to do the needful. And Mr. Patrick, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Patrick, yes. Also, Mr. Felix, please also send your notes. Very important. It's a proof of you are following and you're doing due diligence. So thank you very much, everyone. Do have a wonderful evening. Bye for now, and I look forward to seeing you on the subsequent videos. Bye for now.